If you feel like a freaking broken record because you are repeating yourself over and over again and your students still refuse to listen, you're going to want to stick around and hear this 4-step reset trick. And if you're on the hunt for positive heart-led behavior strategies, be sure to like and subscribe so you're the first to know when a new video drops. Okay, so I've had this happen more times than I can count. Sometimes you just get that difficult class that just struggles overall to listen. Sometimes it's a handful of students. Sometimes they come in and they're just really immature and you just really kind of have to work with those basic listening skills. Sometimes it can be triggered by the time of year. So it's around the holidays, right? Christmas time, and they act like hooligans and suddenly all the rules go out the window and they're just so excited and hopped up on sugar that they just don't want to listen. Or maybe it's towards like maybe the end of the year and it's the kids are just kind of like think they're above the law at that point and they don't really care to listen to you anymore because they've heard you for almost a year. So these are all different experiences that I've had and instances when I've noticed that students can really struggle to listen. And that's when I created my 4-step listening behavior reset. You know I love a good 4-step process. So here's my 4-step behavior reset. Step 1 is you're going to do a hard reset. You're going to stop everything. And I mean stop everything. So if you're in maybe doing a whole group lesson, or if you're at centers or wherever it is, I stop everything and go, okay, boys and girls, we need to stop and we need to have a chat. And when you do this hard reset, you're going to lower your voice because talking at a low voice really gets students to really dial in and listen and calm their bodies down, and they really become just kind of in tune with what you're saying. I get a very low voice and I get very serious, and for me, I like to kind of be a little bit dramatic where I'll go, oh no, boys and girls. And I'll get so serious and all of a sudden they'll kind of stop and they'll look. And then I also make eye contact with all the kiddos. So I'm either, if say they're all at centers and I'm kind of looking around, or if we're at the carpet, I'm looking around, I lower my voice and I look into their eyes and I tell them, please look into my eyes. We need to have a chat. Step 2 now is having a calm chat. I would say to my kiddos, I'm feeling so saddened right now, boys and girls. We are not following rule number 2, which is follow directions quickly. I saw students doing this and maybe over here, and I'll kind of say the behavior that they were doing that wasn't acceptable. And I'll say, that's not okay. Then I'll say, let's go back to our rules and review them. So step 3 is a rules refresher. You're gonna go over your classroom rules. I would make all my kiddos stand up and we would do it chorally. And I would say, okay, boys and girls, rule number 1. And it would say, raise your hand to talk. Rule number 2, follow directions quickly. So they knew when we would go through all the rules just to have a refresher and remember, what are our classroom rules, my friends? We need to make sure we're following them. And the 4th step, which I think is arguably the most important step, is watch and reward. I like to say, after we've done the hard reset, we're quiet, we're having our chat, we have our calm chat, say what's not okay, we review the rules, we do a refresher, then I'll say, boys and girls, I so wanted to give you, usually I have a token system and I had like a cookies in the cookie jar, and I would say, I wanted to give you a cookie in the cookie jar. Oh, now I can't because we weren't listening, we were running around, we weren't following directions. That makes me so sad. I wanted to give you one, but I can't because you're not following the rules. What I'm going to do now, my friends, is I'm going to watch and make sure that you are making better choices. So notice what I said there. I didn't end on a negative note where I'm like, you're not listening, this is not okay, follow the rules. I ended on a positive. I said, boys and girls, I can't give you this, but here's the second chance for them where they go, oh, okay, they can still redeem themselves. Where I say, I'm going to be watching, my friends. I'm going to be watching and seeing if you do follow directions quickly. And when you do, I will put a cookie in the cookie jar. So now I would say arguably the most important piece of all this is you have to follow through. If you say you're going to look for that behavior and reward it, make sure that if they end up doing that good behavior, reward it, acknowledge it, make a big deal about it, because it's not fair to them if we say, hey, I'm looking for this good behavior and I'll reward it when I see it, and they do it and then nothing happens. Then all of a sudden our words are meaningless. I promise you, once you do the watch and reward and you follow through with it, you will see changes in your students' behavior. Okay, let's do a quick recap. So your 4-step behavior reset is going to look like this. Step 1, do a hard reset. Stop everything, lower your voice, and make eye contact. Step 2 is have a calm chat. This is what I was seeing, and this is not okay. Step 3 is a rules refresher. So you're going to review the rules, you're going to go over them and talk about them. I recommend having your students learn them and know them chorally. And then from there, you're going to move into step 4. And step 4 is that watch and reward. So end on that positive. Boys and girls, I really wanted to give you this token. I'm going to be watching to make sure that you make a better choice. When I see that better choice, I will give you the whatever it is that your token is. Now, I do recommend holding this 4-step behavior reset in your back pocket, and you don't want to be doing it every single day, right? Because then it kind of is exhausted. You kind of want to hold this where you try your other behavior strategies, and this is kind of your almost, I don't want to say last resort, but it's like, okay, we're nipping this in the bud. We're going to have this conversation. Maybe you have to have it a couple times a week at the beginning if your students are really struggling, but not every day, because if it happens every single day, it's going to just kind of become white noise to them. All right, that wraps up my 4-step behavior reset to help your students if they just absolutely refuse to listen and you're really having just one of those difficult days. Next time your kiddos are not listening, pull this trick out of your back pocket and watch your students' behaviors transform. And be sure to like and subscribe so you're the first to know when a new video drops. All right, that's all for now, my friend. I'll see you in the next one. And until then, happy teaching.